You know, it's kind of crazy that we're only at the halfway point of season 2, considering how crazy this season has been and how much has happened. And I feel like Yesterday's Lie is going to be kind of like the episode that just like puts it over the top for how phenomenal it's been so far. Because this episode, it's apparently Luz thinks she finds a way home, but she may not be ready for what she finds on the other side. And I feel that's going to be like the doppelganger that we saw at the end of Keeping Up Appearances. We also know there's that shot from the trailer that we have yet to see of Camila, so we're gonna be getting something on Earth with that doppelganger. And there's also that shot of Luz like floating in that body of like liquid or water, and I feel that like either they're building a portal or they've built a portal and Luz is gonna have to like go through, and that's why she has like the rope tied on just in case anything bad happens. She'll get pulled back through, so you know she doesn't get trapped in like the in-between, because there's that space in between that Philip didn't even know like what was between when you walk through one side of the door and come out the other, and I think that's where Luz is gonna be. There's also that weird like cube thing that's been in a lot of the promotional material and stuff, so like I don't know, maybe that's how Luz sees a glimpse of what's going on at Earth and that like she feels replaced by Camila. A lot of crazy stuff I feel is going to be in this episode. I will be shocked if Luz ends up like on Earth and then like something happens with the portal and like she can't go back. I will be shocked if that ends up happening with this episode, because I think it's kind of too early for that. So I think something's going to happen. She's going to end up staying on the Boiling Isles. The crazier thing would be if Camila somehow ends up on the Boiling Isles, like goes through like the portal door or something and ends up stuck there too. But again, that'd be crazy. So yeah, so Luz getting separated or Camila getting on the Isles, I feel are kind of like the two extreme crazies. But I mean, hey, with how crazy this season has been so far, like who knows? But yeah, those are kind of my predictions going into this, and like we don't know a lot, which I honestly love. Going into an episode, I love not knowing, because that means that they get to do some crazy stuff. So yeah, but this is it before hiatus. So you know, without further ado, let's go. Yesterday's Lie. We already just started off with it on Earth. Okay. Oh god. What is Creepy Luz gonna look like? What is doppelganger Luz gonna look like? Oh no.
What's the box for me, huh? You used to love making me tinfoil swans.
Oh no.
I'm just looking for a fresh start. Cam taught me a lot, you know?
Yes.
Oh god.
It sure did.
Oh no, she's noticing.
You're gonna be alright.
Why is there a snare?
A new life.
What? Oh.
You!
Oh. Oh, what? Luz? that t-shirt that the doppelganger Luz was gonna put on was the shirt from like the Pitch Bible, I believe, like very early on in development. I believe that was the shirt that Luz was supposed to wear. Okay, so Luz is in like the reflection. So is that how she's like mirrors and stuff? That's how she's gonna be able to like see through, and like when she's looking I don't even know. I don't know. Let's watch and see what happens rather than me just rambling on.
So,
okay, and this is what's gonna happen
the hardest part to making
well, at least you're not gonna use all of it, so you'll get multiple tries.
Nope.
Got 4 more fingers. How much is needed? That's my question. Ooh, that looks a little wonky.
Worked.
Did it? That looks real different from the old door.
It does.
This is my one.
Don't forget to mention me.
Okay.
Oh, she's gonna end up coming back though for sure. Okay, there's the shot. Okay.
Do something wrong? Ida? King? Uri?
You're like in the space between.
Am I back at the Owl House?
You can see like reflect. Yeah, you can like travel through like mirrors. Like
I think I'm in the reflection.
yeah.
I wonder if I could see Amity.
Oh.
No. Come on, Luz, you're on a mission. Camila, ice platform.
Yeah, you know. Oh, magic doesn't work here because you're not on the aisles. You know, Luz, I'm just saying you should probably like check and see like what Bellos is doing. Just saying, putting that out there. Oh, look at her vibing in the kitchen.
Mom.
Oh, interesting. Oh god, this evil doppelganger thing is like so.
Why won't you work?
Yeah,
Okay,
what?
Luz, calm down. Just breathe and count to 5.
What's the name? Breathe and count to 5?
You're from the demon realm.
Listen, I'm just...
Michaela!
I'm not going back.
Michaela Deeds, what are you doing here?
I just saw a spoiler for Monster Slayer Academia.
Monster Slayer Academia. The combination of Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. You know, I saw Dana followed Michaela on Twitter. I didn't think this was gonna be the role she came for. What are you?
Number 5.
Number 5.
I mean, I'm V.
Okay, V. I'm gonna help free you. You're gonna be
Roman
alright.
numeral. Alright.
Look
Look
for
at
a
how
little
nice
thing
Luz
in the
is.
box.
Like, this
Sorry, I don't know.
girl is like,
There you go.
you know,
Nice and easy.
impersonated her, but is still being kind and getting her free.
you.
Who are you, and why are you pretending to be me?
I'm just
Yeah.
looking for a place to
Yeah.
belong.
No, I want to know what happened.
Missing in
Sequence of
Mars,
events,
I mean,
please.
Keep living in my place. For now. When I get back, I can introduce her to the demon realm.
I need magic to transform, and I, just use the rest of it.
Great.
Oh! The
Yeah,
owl
I'm gonna have to, like,
She's been coming here
look at
for
this
years.
newspaper and see if
She
there's
might
any
have
other,
left
like,
some
little
magic stuff
Easter eggs in
behind.
there. There's a video What? Traps and video cameras? And what is oh god, is that like Philip? What is, oh god, there's gonna be so much stuff for me to look at. It's honestly really weird seeing other, like, humans in this show.
Marilyn? Yeah, she tried to pay for a
Marilyn?
latte with a live raccoon a couple months
Wait, is
ago.
that
But when I called the
Steven
cops, she
Sugar?
did something
Those have to be,
weird
like,
croissants.
caricatures of,
Threw 'em in the
crew
trash,
members.
But
Cool.
Hello?
Talking rats. Okay. You gotta be careful approaching high schoolers. Mark all your exit routes and...
Actually, these guys are cool.
Ah, wait, hey!
Must be like a people person?
Did have the best cabin. Cabin 7!
Oh, they were cabin buddies? I know nothing about tarot cards, so I have no idea if that's good or bad.
you in a self-fulfilling prophecy that you won't be able to escape from.
Uh-huh. There's probably something about
Is it
Philip
that dusty in here? She kept asking for snails.
This is it.
You want a set?
Hey, forget what that girl said. I know what it's like to want to run away from home. I did the same thing.
Yeah,
You and
literally.
I are not the same. You had a mom that loved you, a home, a life. You had it good. And you still wanted to run away. I didn't have a choice. My kind went extinct a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, Lauren
But we
Backstreet,
were
give me
brought
this.
back. That's when I saw you and realized there might be a way out of this.
Oh, damn, from the very beginning like that? From episode 1?
Why don't we drive? I got the day off from work, and you'll have full control of the playlist.
See,
didn't mean to keep
God,
saying
people
this
are like,
role,
Camilla's an awful mother. Yeah, this is an awful mother. Terrible, yeah, totally the worst. Camilla's a good mom. Ooh. Ugh. Yo, bitch. How to get away was the title of that book. I'm gonna eat it. Oh man. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. He knows. He knows it's you. Okay, so this causes some problems because Camilla's probably gonna find out that Luz is actually missing.
After watching a few YouTube videos, I learned the truth.
Oh no.
Witches and demons are real.
Okay. I mean,
And
like,
they're all sent from Mars to harvest human teeth to power their time machine.
Hitting a little too close to real life events going on in the world right now with people and their crazy conspiracy theories.
Goodbye, Luz.
Oh god. Oh no! Oh god. Oh man.
Camila no seda.
Dramatic shot.
It's so great to hear your voice. I have to tell you the truth.
Oh man, you go
About the last
clean her
few
hair?
months.
Didn't have to make up this elaborate story about the
Oh,
demon
she doesn't
realm.
believe her.
I'm not making it up, Mom.
Oh, I mean, that'd be pretty hard to believe, but...
I'm glad you're still being creative.
Oh, see, she loves her creativity. She just didn't want her to, you know, keep getting in trouble at school.
Do you work for the government?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
God.
a veterinarian, actually.
So.
Oh, she's a
the
vet?
president sent a vet
Oh,
to
look
study
at
the
that! I never
demon's
thought she's a
anatomy,
nurse,
huh?
but she's a vet.
Oh, this is so fun.
Oh, she's a great mom. Oh my god, this woman's wonderful.
Secret history of Gravesfield. 2 brothers were lured into a realm of evil by a real witch, never to be seen again.
Philip?
People have stopped believing in the horrors of
And
witchcraft.
a brother?
I know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Luz,
Training
this is quite
wand?
a detailed story.
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
Oh, she's gonna see. Yeah, this is how she's gonna find out.
Has been living with me the entire time?
Yeah,
It's just a lot to believe.
it
Her name
is
Bea, and she may
understandable.
look different.
But who knew I had such a strong girl living under my roof this whole
Look,
time?
look where Luz gets her compassion from.
Let's
Oh, no.
begin our live dissection of this
Oh, no.
demon right
Oh, no.
now.
Oh no.
You know what? I don't have the imagination for this. I will be taking this innocent child with me. You better back the heck down, or I will tell the police. You
Camilla
have
about to
been
go off.
illegally-
I'm the good guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of bad guys say that.
They do. And you just gotta just shoe with her on hand at all times. Oh, the reflection from the rain. That's why Dana used the rain emoji.
Okay.
Don't need them all at once, though.
Mom, you're...
Oh,
I'm
she
trying
misses
to
her
hold it
baby.
I really am.
No.
It really does seem like you've matured.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've
she
learned
has.
so much. Staying here was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
You chose to stay there?
Oh, well, you know,
Did you hate living with me
no.
that much?
Oh, God, this
on,
is
no.
breaking my heart.
I swear things will be different.
Mom,
Oh,
it's not
God,
you,
this is
it
gonna make
never
me
was.
cry.
Me lose, please.
Okay, Mom. I promise.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Okay. Alright, Okay.
Now, just rest up now, okay? And don't you worry, kiddo. With everything we've learned, we'll have a real...
Oh, no. And that's it. With hiatus. On with the hiatus now. Oh man. Oh, that last scene with Camilla and Luz really got me. Oh boy. Oh, this show made me cry, guys. Yay. What? You know, Dana and crew, if any of you guys end up seeing this, I hope you guys are incredibly proud of what you've been able to accomplish with this season, because it has been so phenomenal. Like, I truly feel like we are watching something so special. And the fact that you guys made, you know, pretty much everything after Through the Looking Glass ruins from home during the pandemic, I can't even begin to imagine. And I just want you guys to know that I'm so incredibly thankful and grateful for all the work you guys have done, because my goodness. Alright, hiatus, guys. Here we go. So here we are at the mid-season finale for Season 2 of The Owl House. We are hitting hiatus, but we got some answers to questions like, who wrote the letters and how did a doppelganger of Luz end up on Earth? But we also got some interesting little details that could relate to Philip and or Bellos, as well as some development for Camila and Luz. But before we get into any of that, let's go over our secret messages. From last season, our episode title message was "A witch loses a true way." With yesterday's line now out, we have "Seek the key." Now Luz had the key, which is now with Hunter, so there is likely something else that she'll need to get back. And I'm guessing it has something to do with the portal door. The first attempt was partially successful, but it will still need a little bit of work. But until we get to the second half of the season, that's what we have for our Season 2 episode title message. But we also have our symbol message. From last season, we have 2 witches torn apart, now alone, 2 hearts of stone, a curse of feathers and mud, a betrayal of blood. Now this episode has some interesting connections to the message, because we learn of 2 brothers who were lured out of the human realm by a witch never to be seen again. Their faces are obscured here, but there are 2 statues shown as well, one of them bearing a resemblance to Philip. So maybe these are the 2 witches the message is referring to. And since hunting Palisman, the mud thing is a bit more interesting considering Bellos' state. Whether this really is referring to Bellos, we'll have to wait and see. The first seasons seem to fit pretty well with Ida, Lilith, and the curse, but there is the possibility that it expands to season 2. The other thing is the Hearts of Stone. Since getting a glimpse of the Grimwalkers from the book last episode, one of the ingredients being Galder stones that we saw previously, maybe this is alluding to Grimwalkers. There's definitely a lot of possibilities now with the new information drop this episode, but so far we have Seething Seas and Puppet Strings He No Longer Dreams. The code is found in the staff room next to the picture of Owlbeast Ida. When decoded, it says of, which I think we were all expecting, so we now have Seething Seas and Puppet Strings He No Longer Dreams of. The question is still, who is the puppet? Is it Hunter being used by Belos? Is it Belos being used by the Titan? Is it about Philip, possibly his brother? Still a lot of questions, and unfortunately we will have to wait a while before getting anything else. But with our codes and messages out of the way, let's get into the relevant plot, lore, and world building for this episode. We first start off by seeing what's going on Earth with our doppelganger Luz clearing out all of Luz's old stuff. And we see Luz's room, which has a bunk bed. Luz has never mentioned any siblings, so it's interesting that she has one. But as V goes to toss the box, even Camila notices that Luz seems off. But we also find out that someone who is later to be revealed as Jacob has been setting up traps around town. With Camila saving the rabbit, our doppelganger, who we find out later is named V, goes back inside and we see that Luz confronts her via the mirror. And the shirt scene is actually a callback to early development designs of Luz. Now in getting to this point, Luz and Co. attempted to create a portal. And apparently the ingredients to make one aren't too hard to find, rather it's knowing how to make it. When activating the door, Luz only uses one of the fingers from the glove, so we at least have 4 more attempts. Some of the other ingredients used for the door though are an abomination head, the voodoo doll from the first episode, the trap demon from The Intruder, some brooms, and some skulls. We also see the return of the bathtub from Separate Tides and Echoes of the Past. Now the door looks a little bit janky, probably because it's not as refined as Philip's portal. So when Luz goes through, she doesn't end up on Earth, but something in between. I'm guessing this is the space Philip mentioned in his notes. Now in this space there are cubes that allow Luz to look through reflections of whoever she says the name of, the first being Ida, King, and Hootie. And Luz tries to get a glimpse of what Amity is up to, but quickly gets back on track and calls for her mom. Now since this space is not on the Boiling Isles, Luz's glyphs don't work here, meaning this place really isn't connected to the Isles at all. Upon looking in, Luz sees her mom for the first time in months, and Camila is just vibing out in the kitchen, but we also see a picture of Luz, Camila, and presumably her father, although his face is obscured. I know a lot of people have wondered about Luz's dad, and honestly it was never a big question for me. This is the first time we got any acknowledgement of him in the series, but this picture at least confirms that Luz knew her dad. Now this also happens to be the moment where our 2 storylines intertwine and Luz realizes there is a doppelganger of herself. Obviously this is a shocking revelation and she wants to find out who this person is, but doesn't know her name. And in a moment of trying to calm herself down, actually says her name, 5. Which, by the way, anytime we hear that name, I thought of Codename Kids Next Door. Also, Michaela Dietz, who is most well known for voicing Amethyst from Steven Universe, is her voice actress. And apparently there's an anime on Earth called Monster Slayer Academia. And it's okay, Camila, I watch anime too, and even I don't understand it all the time. Now V bolts into the house that transported Luz in the first place, and we actually get to see the inside for the first time. But inside there is another trap and also a camera, and V gets captured, and we also see that she is a basilisk who came from the Boiling Isles. Luz helps her get out of the snare because she is the sweetest, most compassionate person ever. Seriously, this girl impersonated her and she still helps her out. Now this leads to a conversation between Luz and V, the latter saying that she has been looking for a place to belong, and with Camila being so kind, she decided to stay and impersonate Luz. And she's clearly gotten attached to her, even calling her mom. Since Luz is still stuck on the Isles and can't get back to the human realm, she sees this as a way to let V stay and also keep her mom unaware that she's actually missing. However, V needs magic to change her form, so they need to find some, and thankfully, since Ida has made many trips to Gravesfield, there is likely some that she left behind. Now we see here that Gravesfield was founded in 1635, which would add up with Philip likely being alive during this time. And something I might be looking a bit too much into, the Gravesfield crest has wings that remind me of the Emperor's Coven. But we then see the statues. The one on the right looks like Philip. The one on the left is likely the brother mentioned later on, and his nose has more of a resemblance to Belos that we saw last episode. So perhaps this brother is actually Belos. Belos did say in Hunting Palisman that his family is gone because of wild magic, so maybe this is about Philip. This also means that Hunter could be a son of Philip, and that's why he calls Belos uncle. With the Grimwalker stuff last episode though, I'm wondering if Philip experimented with clones and that led to the creation of Hunter, and him being Philip's son, so to speak. The whole Philip, Belos, and Hunter thing after this episode will yet again be another separate video though, where I can go more in depth. But I gotta say, it's weird going back to Earth and seeing humans just walking around and not demons, creatures, and characters with pointy ears. Now this brings us to Robin's Roast Cafe, where we see some band customers, one of them being Ida, who goes by the name Marilyn, which is likely a nod to Gravity Falls, where Grunkle Stan recalls meeting someone named Marilyn who fits Ida's description. There are some other band customers as well. I believe the one on the far right is Steven Sugar, who is a background designer for the show. I don't know who is in the tiger stripe outfit, but the picture behind it, I'm wondering if this is Luz Batista just based on the hair and glasses. But the cafe doesn't work out for finding magic since there are only talking rats. So this brings us to the group of teens playing with the Hexus Hold'em cards. And apparently Ida got rid of all of her decks, so I guess she really did quit after Hootie's moving hassle. V approaches the group and Luz is worried that she's gonna get made fun of, which really shows how often Luz got picked on and that she's just come to expect this from kids her age. But they are actually the kids V went to camp with, all of them staying in cabin 7. Now one of the kids gives a card reading, and while it's directed at V, this also applies to Luz. So in that regard, Luz and V are very similar. But I'm just wondering what this prophecy will be for Luz. Now this brings us to the Gravesfield Historical Society, where we meet Jacob, the one who wrote the article we saw previously and also the one setting up traps and cameras. But we also find out more about V's backstory and that she is actually named number 5 and a basilisk. Basilisks being extinct, which is something we learned back in the first day, were brought back for experimentation on how they absorb magic. And I'm guessing absorbing magic is something Belos has an interest in because of the Day of Unity. But V and some others were able to escape. However, knew it was only a matter of time before Belos would find them again. So when V saw Luz, she used the portal to go to Earth and met Camila and decided to stay there. Now V is conflicted in resenting Luz for running away and leaving Camila since she had everything she didn't, but is also thankful it gave her the opportunity to find someplace better. This brings us to V and Luz discovering that they have been recorded and V gets captured. We also learned that Jacob saw Ida's owl beast form and has been trying to track witches and demons ever since. And V makes the sacrifice to try and help Luz, but of course she isn't gonna let that happen and calls for her mom. And for the first time in months, Luz actually gets to talk to Camila and comes clean about everything, although she doesn't believe Luz's story. But this brings Camila to the museum, and we also find out that she is a veterinarian. And for everyone who says Camila was a bad mom, look at how supportive she is of Luz's creativity. Obviously this isn't a game, but to Camila, she thinks it is and is happy to play along. She just wanted Luz to learn how to express her creativity in better ways so she wouldn't keep getting in trouble at school and made fun of. Not brainwash her like many people seem to think. But this brings us to a bit more lore. Gravesfield was a peaceful colony in the 1600s until a tragedy struck. 2 brothers were lured by a witch into a realm and never seen again. And I'm betting one of these is Philip. And the 2 interesting details are the cardinal on one of the brothers' shoulders, and then the other one holding a piece of paper, maybe a glyph. Since there is the cardinal palisman, I find a cardinal being in the book a bit suspicious. Plus the supposed glyph. We do know that witches use something similar to glyphs in the Savage Ages, and it would make sense for a human to develop this kind of magic. And again, I'll make a video going more in depth another day. Also, Jacob has a training wand, and I know that Amity doesn't need it anymore because she popped off last episode, but Camila realizes that this is in fact not an elaborate game or story, and through some convincing from Luz, accepts V and notes how strong she is and didn't even know it during the time she was staying with her. And then Camila pops off, and apparently she just keeps a flip-flop in case she needs to beat the crap out of somebody. And hey guys, look at that, all the things that Dana teased in her 2 lies and a truth ended up happening. But with V safe, Camila offers her a place to stay for as long as she needs, and then this leads to her and Luz having a very emotional conversation. Camila trying to keep it together, but also being scared and worried about Luz being in the demon realm, but still noting how much she has matured. And yeah, Luz got to go to the Isles where people didn't make fun of her and loved and accepted her for who she is. Being in an environment like that definitely helps you grow. However, Luz notes that it was her decision to stay there, which Camila doesn't take well. And yes, initially it was her decision, but after blowing up the portal, she didn't have a choice. But Camila assumes that she was a bad parent and that Luz hated living with her, and apologizes if she made it seem like she was pushing Luz away, even promising things will be different when she comes back. Luz assures Camila that she was never the issue, but in turn, Camila makes Luz promise to stay with her, as in never go back to the Isles, and Luz agrees. And since the portal is closing on the other end, Luz is pulled away. And not wanting to break the news of the promise she just made, tells Ida, King, and Hootie that her mom can't wait to meet them. But I think we know that Luz is going to have to deal with telling everyone what she promised to do at some point in the series. Which makes it really heartbreaking thinking about what it's going to entail with Ida, King, Hootie, Willow, Gus, and Amity. I always kind of figured that Luz never being able to go back was something that would happen in the show. I just wasn't expecting it to be a promise to her mom. But we know how much Luz loves her and doesn't want to hurt her, so she is probably going to be really conflicted going forward. And this actually segues nicely to our character development for this episode. And I will primarily be talking about Luz and Camila. The Owl House gang took a bit of a backseat this episode, but as always, they are super supportive of Luz. But we did get our new character V introduced, and I liked her a lot. I think it was clever for Luz to use the reflections as a way to peek in on Earth. But both Luz and V reflected each other with their situations. Both were looking to escape their lives and they had used the portal to do so. V resents Luz for running away from her mom who loves and cares about her. But Luz loves the Boiling Isles because it was her own fresh start where she wouldn't be made fun of or an outcast. So I really like the use of mirrors and reflections given the parallels between Luz and V, and thankfully V does end up getting to stay on Earth by the end of the episode. Now in addition to parallels, Luz using reflections also works because she is reflecting on how her choice to stay on the Isles is affecting others, mainly her mother. And Luz is thankful for how Camila handled the whole being trapped in the demon realm thing and witches and magic being real. However, Luz sees how much it also hurts her mother knowing that she's away and she can't do much to help her out. And even though she never wanted to hurt her mom, she's really been enjoying her time on the Isles. She's being loved and accepted for who she is and hasn't been made fun of like she was back at home. So of course she's gonna want to keep spending time there. And Luz really has grown since she arrived. I mean, think about the Luz from the first episode to now. She's always been kind and compassionate, but now she's really finding out who she is because she has the people around to support her in doing so. I'm not saying Camila didn't, but having a whole group of people supporting her has definitely made a world of difference. But it's once Luz says she made the choice to stay is where the real conflict starts. Because Luz sees going to the Isles as a huge positive, but Camila sees it as Luz running away because of her specifically. Of course, it was never Camila, it was school and her peers. But since Luz never really had anyone outside of her mom, Camila is just going to assume that she's the issue. So she apologizes if she made it seem like she was pushing Luz away and promises to make things better. Like, from this episode, we clearly see Camila cared about Luz. She wanted to drive her to camp and plays along with Luz's creativity, even saying that she knows school is hard but loves that her daughter is still so creative. I think it's pretty clear to see where Luz gets her compassion from. So Camila saying she'll change is really heartbreaking considering that she has already been a loving and supportive mother. But with her promise comes the other one of having Luz stay with her. And this isn't from ill intent. Camila probably has no idea about Ida, King, Hootie, Willow, Gus, and Amity outside of just some name drops when Luz came clean, if she even mentioned them at all. So she hasn't met the people that have made such an incredible impact on Luz. But she's coming from a place where she thinks she is failing her daughter and is also just worried about her. And Luz, loving her mom, can't bring herself to refuse that promise, so she agrees. I know Luz will struggle with this going forward, and I have a feeling that she may have to A, break the promise at some point and we see how that affects Camila, or B, keeps her promise and we see how that affects the Owl House gang. Or maybe a combination of both. Either way, this promise is definitely going to affect how Luz interacts with everyone else, I think specifically with Ida, King, Hootie, and Amity. She'll be torn between telling them the truth or just breaking the promise altogether. so it will be really interesting to see where things go from here. But with yesterday's lie, we have officially hit hiatus, and we don't know when the show will be back with the second half of season 2. Amphibia starts airing its 3rd season in October, so that will take us to the holidays before that goes into hiatus. So the absolute earliest we could see the return of the Owl House is late winter, but I'm thinking it's going to be more like spring. But that's looking months ahead. I do want to repeat what I've been saying this whole season so far, in that the crew has done a phenomenal job. I honestly can't remember the last time I have enjoyed a series this much, and the episodes have all been so amazing. It's truly something special, and I feel so lucky that I get to experience it as it airs. So Dana and crew, I hope you are all incredibly proud of yourselves because you have caught lightning in a bottle. And with us entering hiatus, I cannot wait to see what the second half of season 2 brings in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.